Let's go to the Steelers. This is one of the QB battles that we're going to be looking out for. Look at those two gladiators. Okay. Russell Wilson is out there seeing his first action as a Steeler. The first drive of the game, 3rd and 10 for the Steelers, and Wilson out of the shotgun. Greg Rousseau easily gets to him for the sack.
Yeah, really one of the stories for Russell was too many 3rd and longs. Not much that he can do there, but, you know, when you get early down, play action and pressure, you'd love to see Russell find a way to get the ball out of his hands. Another 3rd and long situation. Rousseau wins that one-on-one.
Yeah, it was like 3 straight from him. Second quarter, still no score off a Bills interception. Steelers with a 3rd and 2, and Wilson finding Van Jefferson over the middle. That's a gain of 11. This would lead to a Steelers missed field goal, but at least a completion there for him. Now, Fields came into the game for the Steelers. 24 seconds left in the half, and what do you see here, Dan?
Yeah, a really good understanding of, okay, the defense drops out. Go use your legs, the ability to understand that was probably going to be the best case scenario for him to take off and run.
Here in the fourth quarter, Fields escaping the pocket, rolling left, and the pass right here tipped but caught by Dez Fitzpatrick. Unbelievable play by Fields escaping that sack.
Remarkable. And Laura, he's not a perfect player, but there is talent there that has to have value when it comes to some of the get myself out of bad into good stuff that he has in his game.
This under 2 minutes to play. Fields taking the snap. The Bills force a fumble. He recovers it and he throws it to Quez Watkins, but the pass right there incomplete. All right, here's more from Tomlin and Russ postgame.
We didn't do a good enough job of protecting the quarterback. We got to do a better job in pass protection than we did, not only in possession downs, but just in general. And I was really upfront with the group about it. In that regard, that can't be a problem for us.
I know who I am. I know what's inside of me. I know what we can do as a team, and it takes all of us. It's not just all on my shoulders or anything else. It's all of us together, and we're going to do that. And that's the exciting part. And so I'm not focused on the outside part of it. I'm just focused on the internal.
All right, Mina, after seeing Wilson for the first time in a Steelers uniform and now Fields for a second time, who puts them in the best position to win earlier in the season?
I would go with Fields. I think both these quarterbacks struggled. Both of them have, frankly, kind of similar weaknesses in terms of holding on to the football, taking sacks, not always seeing the middle of the field well. But my feeling is if your offense, your passing attack is going to be boom or bust, you got to go with a player who's actually going to give you some of that boom, and you're not really seeing that with Wilson. There were a couple plays here that really jumped out to me. One where he checked it down to Pat Freiermuth, their tight end, on 3rd down. Another one where he didn't see Freiermuth get open or give him time and checked it down as well. That made me wonder, is he going to push it downfield consistently enough this season to compensate for the lack of an intermediate passing game? I'm not so sure. Meanwhile, with Fields, yes, it's a roller coaster. Yes, you're still seeing some of the same struggles you saw in Chicago, but you're also seeing some of the electric plays. And if I'm the Steelers, I ride that variance knowing that you can at least capture some of that upside.
Yeah, one of the benefits to having Russell Wilson or any veteran quarterback is, okay, we can bank on this. Like, we can bank on you executing the very basic, simple stuff, and maybe it's not going to be as grand or as explosive that Mina was kind of intimating, but it gives us the chance to have easy completions. But that didn't show up for Russell. Your motion, this is stick flat. The flat defender widens. The ball should get replaced right now. Now he throws a good decision to the flat, but instead of 2nd and 2, it's 2nd and 7. That's not the right decision there. This time they're going to motion CP, and they're trying to create a one-on-one at the bottom of the screen for Pickens. He gets doubled. Just replace the linebacker who left. But instead, he throws it to the flat. Sure, it's a good decision, but it's not the right decision. And again, instead of 2nd and 2, it's 3rd and long. This time, you're getting in this formation. George Pickens lined up on a linebacker. 2 throws George Pickens the ball, matched up on a linebacker. But for some reason, Russ throws the hitch to the field, which is an easy breakup. And so if he's not operating that stuff efficiently, and Justin's not, well, Justin at least has the plus stuff of the athleticism and making the good out of the bad. And so, and I understand, like, everyone's like, well, it's his first time in the Steelers offense. These are basic plays that Russ has run hundreds of times before in his career. So because that's lacking, I agree. Just play Justin Fields and try to mitigate the valley.
Russell's coming back from the calf injury, too. So I don't know how much that impacted his play on Saturday night. And I just wonder, is there a way for this team to use both the quarterbacks? Why can't you capitalize on what both do? I know that is not the conventional, traditional way of thinking, but they're in a situation where I think both guys can have some strengths and added value here. Can you do something like that?
I wouldn't. When have we ever seen that work in the NFL? You're also talking about a guy, Russell Wilson, who has been an MVP type of candidate in his past and also a Hall of Fame type of player, at least trajectory. Is he going to be good with a 2-quarterback system? And then if you're Justin Fields, you're going to sit there and go, well, hold on, you're only going to use me in like a Taysom Hill role? That's not, I don't think, first of all, I don't anticipate that's Mike Tomlin's DNA. I also don't think that is doing the proper service to your football team. I would play Justin Fields because I think both flaws are very similar.
Yeah, one thing to look out for with the Steelers' schedule, they need to have early success. Their schedule gets really hard later on. They play all 6 of their division games in the final 8 weeks. They also play at Philadelphia in Week 15. Here it is right here. Home against the Chiefs in Week 17. So you hope they can manage that early part of the schedule, and then toward the latter part, maybe they're hitting their stride. But it is difficult. Listen, they won't shy away from it under Mike Tomlin. But goodness. The latter half is difficult. Oh, look at this.
With me and Schefter.
This is like the chainmail going on here between Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Back to our quarterback battles. This one with the Raiders. Heading into this game, they hadn't announced the starters, but just yesterday they confirmed Gardner Minshew will be QB1. Aiden O'Connell and Minshew both got a significant amount of opportunities on Saturday. O'Connell going 14 of 20 with a touchdown and interception. Minshew finished 10 of 21 with 95 yards and no turnovers. Here's Antonio Pierce with more.
Gardner Minshew's going to be the starting quarterback the 2024 season. Myself, Telesco, and Luke Getsy discussed it this morning. A lot of things went into it. It wasn't based off of last night. There's a lot of factors. So we feel like Gardner gives us the best opportunity to get off to a fast start, and that's what we're going with. We support him. Our team's behind it. Our staff's behind it. Our organization's behind it. A lot of stuff we can get better at. I don't think anything here is a finished product, but based off of where we want to go in the first quarter of the season, we feel like Gardner gives us the best opportunity.
Right.
That's Adam and Dan still talking about that pass that they completed, and I'm never going to hear the end of it. Can you guys stop it for a second? All right, one thing Minshew excels at is taking care of the ball. Actually, don't stop. He's thrown an interception on just 1.69% of his pass attempts in his career. That's ever so slightly behind Patrick Mahomes for 4th best since 2019. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, the only other quarterbacks with a better percentage. Mina, do you think the Raiders made the right decision here with Minshew?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like this was a no good answer situation, if I'm being candid. Coach Pierce said it wasn't based on last night. I would agree, because you just showed a graphic showing Gardner Minshew's done a good job protecting the football. I think that's probably a huge part of why they went with him. He did not actually protect the football last night. He should have been picked too. To me, he looked inaccurate. He missed open receivers. Unfortunately for Aiden O'Connell, I don't think he really outplayed him this preseason. And I think in going with Minshew, they're betting on that low interception rate and then the occasional explosive play, which you did see on the bomb to Trey Tucker, who I think is a really underrated speedster. And I think this Raiders skill group is also really underrated. So, everything is set up there actually for Minshew, I think, to have some success. But what we have seen with him over the course of his career, particularly recently, is a lot of variance, highs, lows, and I think they're going to ride that as long as they can.
Dan, how does the type of coaching impact a quarterback's play most?
I mean, it's huge. It's the whole taking the air out of a ball or pumping it up. That's the reality in quarterback, because the mental is such a big deal. I mean, Laura, we sat in those meetings with Tua and had those stories shared with us, and
last season
you feel from Tua, like it's almost, you can feel the emotion coming from him. So it's a really big deal when it comes to the belief that you have in yourself, because you're often taught your teammates are going to feed off that. I do think that there is an element of defensive coach, quarterback here. Defensive coaches are very unique in their own way when it comes to their mentality, because defensive players have to be in that way at times. And then quarterbacks are as well. So I do think there's a little bit of that, but, it's more of a credit to Mike McDaniel that he rebuilt Tua.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, what conversations were had between Tua and both of these coaches, but I do know that what he is describing manifested itself on the football field, which is what we see. I mean, Mike McDaniel, when he was the head coach, he looked at Tua Tagovailoa and he didn't see a limited quarterback or someone who had injuries. He looked at him and he saw, you have a lightning quick release, you're unbelievably accurate, you throw with anticipation. I am going to build an offense in your image. I'm going to get skill players who fit this offense, but I'm going to make this whole machine out of what you do best, which is throw over the field quickly with anticipation and make this thing go. And it has gone. And obviously Tua has room to improve. This entire offense does, but frankly, when we talk about him and what happens behind closed doors, the results on the field speak for themselves.
Yeah. Stephen Ross and Chris Greer knew exactly what they wanted to do, what they needed to do, and they made the right move. And Mike McDaniel, he was the right coach at that time.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to tell, when we were at that game, that Miami game, I talked to Tua's father on the field pregame, and he said to me, Mike McDaniel single-handedly remade my son and gave him his confidence back. It should not be discounted how important McDaniel has been to this young man.